introduce, though Nanda ji doesn't require any introduction, but still I would like to introduce CA Charanjot Singh Nanda, the Central Council member. He has been the chairperson of NIRC a long back ago and has been Central Council members from quite a time now. He's a very renowned faculty. I won't waste much of time in introducing him and go directly to him and present his keynotes before we begin today's discussion. Nandaji, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Shubhamji.
I would like to request Nandaji to start up with the keynotes with today's discussion and the agenda around GST and industrial perspective and the impact of union budget on various industries. Over to you, Nandaji.
So very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Am I audible, Shubham?
Sir, loud and clear.
Great. So very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I see so many of my friends from industry and from practice field, Mr. Amitabh Mohanty, Mr. Dinesh Mittal, Mr. Shrey Gupta, CA Tushar Agarwal, CA Rajiv Khandelwal, Madam Gitika Srivastav, and all across so many galaxy of participants who have come here to go more enlightened. Ladies and gentlemen, you are well aware that Union Budget 2021 proposed to dispense with the requirement of audit and certification of a reconciliation statement by the Chartered Accountant. We all are well aware that this speaks to the amendments in Section 35(5) and Section 44 of the CGST Act 2017 by the Union Budget 2021. The basic impetus which I want to bring forth here is that Chartered Accountants have been always playing a very pivotal role in driving this economy. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India was set up way back on 1st July 1949, when the most important document to the democracy, the Constitution, was not adopted. All of you are well aware that the Constitution to this great country was promulgated on 26 January 1950. The pertinent question that arises is, what prompted the Constituent Assembly to set up an Institute of Chartered Accountants of India when its own democratic setup was not in place? The answer is very candid, very simple, very forthcoming. They were looking for a disciplined band of soldiers to steer this country out of confusion. I'm unable to understand why the government thought of dispensing with this. I would like to very humbly state that this dispensation would be detrimental to the interests of the taxpayers as well as the government. There are certain notions which need to be very clearly put across, because the process of audit entails intangible benefits not only to the taxpayers but also to the government, which can be experienced over a period of time. Audit promotes good governance and brings clarity and ensures compliance, on which government has a great focus. Going ahead, you are aware that since its inception, GST has been continuously evolving, and that too at a very fast pace. Chartered accountants traditionally have played a very vital role in helping businesses adapt to this new regime. They have guided taxpayers in discharging their liabilities and complying with other procedural requirements of the law. You are aware that chartered accountants possess the professional equipment to take them through all these issues. More importantly, the income tax law also recognizes the prowess of chartered accountants and provides specifically for audit by chartered accountants beyond a specific turnover threshold. I would like to very candidly state here that the role played by chartered accountant ensures maker-checker concept, thereby detecting inconsistencies which may have crept in, lapses, errors, and ambiguities. More importantly, this results in saving of avoidable costs in terms of interest and penalties that they would have exposed because they have not gone on to the right stream. Taxpayers always want to work in tandem, which is in interest of the country at large. But this certain lapses may lead to litigation and may also lead to financial liabilities and penalties on them. The chartered accountants use their competencies to ensure that the taxpayer, most importantly, claims the legitimate input tax credit, reports all taxable supplies made by him with correct value, determines correct nature of tax, applies the appropriate rate of tax, and timely discharges his tax liabilities. Very importantly, the taxpayer would be unduly burdened with avoidable disputes which would ultimately turn in increased and frivolous litigation if we are withdrawing GST audit. More importantly, I can very well say that the government also largely benefits in terms of getting structured data from reconciliation statement prepared and certified by chartered accountants. A reconciliation statement helps the officer in completing the department's scrutiny and audit within the well-prescribed time as set up by the statute. The act of bridging the government and the taxpayer is done by chartered accountants. It's a long drawn process, I can say so many things, but the last thing on this note, I would like to conclude on the GST audit. It says that the lapses discovered from such exercise, if the chartered accountants are not doing audit, are not filing the reconciliation statement, will result in notices demanding tax, interest, and penalties. In the coming years, the government will also lose the revenue which had been collected through annual returns. So largely, I want to tell you that this has to be reinstated for the interest of the membership at large. Going ahead to the second area, which is two-way reconciliation, handling of mismatches, communication with the vendor. You all are well aware that in terms of Section 100 of Finance Bill 2021, two-way reconciliation is mandatory. The details of invoice or debit note referred to in Clause A are very, very important. Secondly, communication with vendors again has become a very great area. You are all aware that recently GST portal has introduced a new feature to direct GSTIN to GSTN based communication and can be used for vendor communication. So largely what I want to put across is that it is a well-versed systematic area where chartered accountants have been continuously pursuing and serving us. Chartered accountants over the years have learned the act of mastering complex things. I'm reminded of a couplet which I would like to share with you. The couplet is a chartered accountant speaking to a non-chartered accountant. He says, कुछ तो फर्क है तेरी और मेरी तालीम में. A CA to a non-CA. कुछ तो फर्क है तेरी और मेरी तालीम में. तूने उस्तादों से सीखा है, हमने हालातों से सीखा है. हम चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट हालातों के हवाले होकर बड़ी शिद्दत से अपने रोल को प्ले करते हैं. अगर हम बात करते हैं पूरे सिस्टम की, तो उसके अंदर चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट का रोल बड़ा पिवटल है. I can say one thing with total conviction, that the GST in this country has come up to this level only by the intelligence of chartered accountants. You can see that normal chartered accountants from industry are very keen how they have to move ahead. This very well showcases the fact that the role of chartered accountants can never be undermined. It can never be put across on a different perspective. Sir, I want to now just at the end want to just discuss the GST Action Plan for 2021. Now, when it comes to industry, the industry needs to equip itself with professional expertise from new area of compliance like GST 2A, which is mandatory now. Again, GSTR 9C on a self basis, e-invoicing, and last, it is Rule 42 complications. Coming on to the involvement of CA firms, 2A is again very important. Now they have called for special audits where again chartered accountants can contribute. Health checks, health checkup. I want to tell you one thing. This 9C is nothing else than a health checkup. Any company you can step in, there may be another auditor, there may be another GST auditor, there may be a statutory auditor, internal auditor. Only you can go ahead and do the health checkup and tell the company where there are fallacies, where they need to focus on, so that at a later stage, litigation does not come up. And now it is time for appeals and scrutiny, because time limit of 5 years from the due date of annual return is fast elapsing. So what I want to put forth is that the role of chartered accountants can never be undermined. The working of chartered accountants, particularly in the areas of creating compliance environments, is very important. I happen to be the chairman of Internal Standard Board of ICA. I've taken over recently also as the chairman of Committee on Management Accounting and vice chairman of Continuing Professional Education. I have been a part of this committee, which I was chairing since long, and I have been the chairman several times. I did a program only on internal audit of GST and income tax litigation fact. I can tell you one thing, be another compliance officer of a company, be there be any consultant, when you think fees of an auditor, when you think from the eyes of health check, when you think that you are on the edges as an internal auditor, you are able to add so many things, which ultimately leads to making the compliance system beneficial. not taking much of your time. We have so many learned speakers who would take you and put at rest all the doubts. I'm thankful to Webtel for inviting me here. And I want to tell you that in my opinion, the ultimate objective of compliance is to ensure that it is complied 100%. You can't take chances. And for that, you need well-grounded professionals like chartered accountants who understand the entire nuances, are able to advise the company how they have to move forward. I want to thank you all for giving me patient hearing. Thank you. Thank you so much.